In Vedic astrology, the placement of Ketu in the ninth house is a profound and often paradoxical position. Known as the south node of the moon, Ketu represents liberation, moksha, detachment, past life mastery, and the shedding of material desires. When it occupies the ninth house, the realm of higher wisdom, long-distance travel, religion, and the father, it creates a life path centered on seeking truth beyond the surface of traditional structures. The search for the formless divine. The ninth house is traditionally associated with organized religion and established belief systems. However, Ketu is a planet of no head, it operates on intuition rather than logic. Consequently, individuals with this placement often feel a deep-seated dissatisfaction with conventional religious practices. They may find rituals hollow or dogmatic structures suffocating. Instead, they are drawn to mysticism, occult sciences, and inward-looking spirituality. There is often a feeling that they have already done the basic religious rites in previous lifetimes. This leads to a native who is a natural philosopher, yet one who may struggle to find a home in any one specific philosophy. They are the perennial wanderers of the spiritual world, looking for a truth that is formless and universal. The complexity of the father and lineage. In the 12 houses of the natal chart, the ninth house represents the father and paternal ancestors. Ketu's presence here can introduce a sense of distance or detachment in the relationship with the father. This doesn't always imply a lack of love, rather, it often manifests as a physical or emotional gap. The father might be a spiritual or reclusive figure, or perhaps he was frequently absent during the native's upbringing. Inherited traditions and family legacies may feel like a burden or an old garment that no longer fits. The native is tasked with breaking away from ancestral patterns to find their own authentic path. This can sometimes lead to a feeling of being the black sheep or the one who questions the very foundation of the family's belief system. Higher education and the intellectual void. While the ninth house governs higher education and university-level studies, Ketu here can make the academic journey unconventional. The native might be brilliant but disinterested in formal degrees, or they may frequently change their field of study. There is often a sense of knowing without learning, where the individual possesses innate wisdom that didn't come from a textbook. Because Ketu represents what we are letting go of, these individuals may achieve high academic honors only to realize that the degree doesn't provide the fulfillment they expected. They are driven to learn for the sake of soul growth rather than social status or career advancement. Travel and the global nomad. The ninth house is the house of long-distance travel and foreign lands. With Ketu here, travel is rarely about simple tourism. It is usually a pilgrimage or a search for meaning. The native may feel more at home in foreign cultures than in their birthplace, yet even abroad, Ketu's influence ensures they remain somewhat of an outsider. This outsider status is actually their greatest strength, as it allows them to observe the world with a level of detachment and objectivity that others lack. The influence of Rahu and the life balance. With Ketu in the ninth, Rahu is invariably in the third house of communication, courage, and self-effort. This creates a specific karmic tension. While the soul, Ketu, wants to retreat into the ninth house of abstract wisdom and isolation, the worldly mission, Rahu, demands that the native engage in the third house activities, writing, speaking, and using their hands to create. The challenge for someone with Ketu in the ninth house is to take the vast, nebulous wisdom they find in their spiritual retreats and communicate it in a way that is practical and accessible to others. They must learn to balance their desire for solitude with the necessity of being a part of their immediate community. Conclusion: the path of the reluctant guru. Ultimately, Ketu in the ninth house produces a soul that is weary of the world's answers. They are naturally skeptical of anyone claiming to have the ultimate truth because they instinctively understand that truth is an internal experience. If they can overcome the tendency toward aimless wandering or spiritual cynicism, they become powerful guides for others. They teach not by preaching from a pulpit, but by embodying the quiet, detached wisdom of someone who has seen through the illusions of the material world and found peace in the void. When Ketu occupies the ninth house, The zodiac sign it resides in colors the flavor of the native's spiritual detachment and their specific approach to higher wisdom. Here is a brief look at how Ketu in the ninth house manifests across every sign. Aries. The search for truth is impulsive and independent. There is a detachment from traditional leadership or father figures, leading to a spiritual warrior path where the individual seeks enlightenment through self-reliance rather than established doctrines. Taurus. There is a profound indifference toward the material comforts usually associated with religion or philosophy. The native may have been wealthy in a past life and now finds that rituals involving money or physical offerings feel empty or redundant. Gemini. Spirituality is approached through a lens of skepticism and mental restlessness. The individual may have mastered many languages or scriptures previously, leading to a present-day feeling that words cannot capture the truth. Cancer. The connection to the divine is deeply emotional and intuitive, yet there is a sense of detachment from the biological family or ancestral roots. They often seek a spiritual home that is not tied to their physical place of birth. Leo. Ketu here dissolves the ego's need for recognition in spiritual circles. The native may shy away from being a guru or public figure, preferring a quiet, humble path of wisdom over the flamboyant displays of religious authority. Virgo. The native is detached from the perfectionism of religious practice. They may find little value in the minute details of rituals or the strict logic of theology, preferring a more chaotic or unstructured form of faith. Libra. Relationships and spiritual partnerships are viewed with a sense of been there, done that. There is a detachment from the need for a companion on the spiritual path, often leading the native to travel or study in solitude. Scorpio. This is a powerful placement for occult mastery. The native has a natural, almost eerie detachment from the fear of death or the unknown. They dive deep into the mysteries of life with a calm, clinical indifference. Sagittarius. Ketu is particularly comfortable here, as Sagittarius is the natural ruler of the ninth house. This creates a natural saint who is deeply philosophical but may completely reject organized religion in favor of universal, law-based truths. Capricorn. There is a detachment from the hierarchy and structure of religious institutions. The native may feel that climbing the ladder of spiritual or academic success is a hollow pursuit, focusing instead on internal discipline. Aquarius. The focus is on the collective soul. The native is detached from individualistic spiritual gains and instead looks toward the liberation of humanity. They are often the rebels within a spiritual or philosophical community. Pisces. This is the ultimate position for moksha, liberation. The boundaries between the self and the divine are paper-thin. The native is often highly psychic and feels like a visitor in the physical world, deeply detached from all worldly labels. When Ketu transits the ninth house of your natal chart, it marks a significant 18-month window of unlearning. The ninth house is the seat of your belief systems, higher education, and the guiding principles of your life. Ketu, acting as the spiritual vacuum, enters this space to clear out outdated dogmas, stale philosophies, and attachments to external authority. The dissolution of belief. The most profound impact of this transit is a feeling of philosophical disorientation. You may find that the religious or moral frameworks you once leaned on suddenly feel hollow. It is not necessarily a loss of faith, but rather a loss of interest in the mechanics of faith. During this time, rituals may feel like empty gestures, and the answers provided by books or mentors may seem insufficient. This transit forces you to move from knowing to being. It is a call to find a truth that exists in the silence of your own experience rather than in a sermon or a syllabus. Redefining the guru and the father. Because the ninth house governs teachers, mentors, and the father, Ketu's transit here often brings a sense of detachment or distance in these relationships. Mentorship. You may find yourself questioning your mentors or feeling that they no longer have anything to teach you. You are being pushed to become your own internal guide. Paternal ties. There can be physical or emotional distance from the father figure. It is a period where you may have to navigate your path without his direct guidance or support, forcing you to find your own feet. Unconventional journeys and education. The ninth house is the house of long-distance travel and higher learning. Under Ketu's influence, these areas take on a ghostly quality. Travel. You may travel to foreign lands, but not for typical leisure. These trips often feel like karmic pilgrimages. You might feel an inexplicable pull toward an ancient site or a quiet temple, or you might find yourself feeling like a stranger in a place you expected to love. Education. If you are a student, this transit can bring a lack of focus on formal curriculum. You might find yourself obsessed with an obscure, mystical subject while neglecting your actual degree requirements. The lesson here is to integrate hidden knowledge with your practical goals. The Rahu counterbalance. While Ketu is hollowing out the ninth house, Rahu is transiting your third house. This creates a powerful dynamic. While your internal belief system, ninth, is being stripped down, your worldly drive, communication, and courage, third, are being amplified. The transit asks you to stop theorizing about life and start doing it. You are encouraged to rely on your own skills and self-effort rather than waiting for luck or divine intervention from the ninth house. The spiritual gift. Though it can feel like a period of wandering or confusion, the transit of Ketu in the ninth house is a cleansing of the soul's lens. By the time Ketu leaves this house, you will likely have a much more authentic, stripped-down relationship with the divine. You emerge with a philosophy that isn't borrowed from a teacher or a tradition, but one that has been forged in the fire of your own solitude and skepticism. It is a time to let go of the map so that you can finally see the landscape. Subscribe, like, and share.